Hello and welcome to No Grey Suits, the podcast. I'm your host, Anastasia, and this is a place for people who have escaped corporate to do their own thing, where we'll talk marketing, video, social media, business, and chat with other business owners about their journeys. It's a bit random, sometimes super practical, sometimes plain old entertainment. Hello and welcome back. I'm Anastasia and I'm your host. And today I wanted to talk about something that is a little more difficult for me to talk about, but I think that, especially given the month that it is, I think that it's important that as a community, as a culture, we need to be more open about it. And that is that I have diagnosed ADHD. Now, I was diagnosed as an adult only a couple of years ago now, so I'm still in a bit of a what does this mean phase. But as a business owner, I can actually see not just how it helps me, how my weirdo brain helps me, but also the challenges that it gives me. And being that October is ADHD Awareness Month, and after a little bit of a kick in the butt from a friend the other day who sort of said to me, "Why aren't you more open about it? Why aren't you more public about it?" I thought I would cover off a few things about my journey as a business owner with ADHD. Now, if you've known me for a while, you'll know that I've had numerous careers, mostly in the finance and mortgage broking space or in the marketing space, which is where I am now. But I've also done dog grooming, I've done retail, I've done hospitality, there's been coaching, there's been a number of industries that I've been part of, and I sort of laugh at that now because, while it's not always a sign of it, it is kind of typically ADHD that I've jumped around a little bit. But the benefit of that has been that I have so many bits of knowledge of different businesses, how they run, what they do, what they could do differently, that I bring so many different perspectives into what I do now. And that's why things like coming up with ideas for reels or for marketing campaigns and things like that for all different industries and businesses, I find it a lot of fun, but also that really weird, varied work history that I've got leans really well into that because, I'm not just coming from one place when I am coming up with my ideas. Now, one of the big challenges that I find with having ADHD is actually what they call the RSD or Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria. It's something that I am working really hard to overcome, but what it basically is being really sensitive to either rejection or perceived rejection. So many times throughout my adult life and careers, I've thought someone was angry with me. That's the very childish way of putting it, but that's exactly what it is. Thought somebody didn't like something. I read into a tone or into a text or into an email, something that wasn't there. Now, I do this constantly. I'm very, very bad at it. That is one thing I will say. It's almost debilitating sometimes. And it's, as a business owner, if this is something that you're struggling with as well, like if you're like me and you're a little bit neurospicy and this is something that you struggle with as well, you're not alone. Some days it is really, really hard to squish that little tiny, tiny voice in your head that automatically perceives things in that negative light. It's very hard to overcome that on a day-to-day basis. And you know what? I haven't quite worked out the magic bullet for it yet. I don't know if there is one. But hey, if I ever find some sort of magic solution for it, I will let you know. So that's one of the challenges. And then there was also a big benefit there in that variety of experience and knowledge. But I think it's important that we have these chats and that each of us, I've come into this business of no grey suits saying, everybody pull their masks off. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be yourself. And then I haven't exactly had the balls to actually come out and really publicly say, you know what, yes, I do have ADHD. My brain does work a little bit differently. Um, and, it is something that is both a struggle and sometimes a blessing for me. A blessing being that last week I did a uni assignment in like 3 hours before it was due without having done much, if any, of the coursework beforehand. And I got 70 something percent. Not bad. One of the main things I did wrong was referencing, but I don't think I've ever gotten referencing right. That's one of the good things is a lot of the time I can pull a rabbit out of the hat. I can, when I'm under that pressure, when a situation comes up that is almost crisis type situation, I'll perform. I'll do really well. But on the flip side of that is the procrastination and the days when I do just sit there unable to actually get anything done. So part of my diagnosis story was actually about a glass of water. There was a glass of water on the bench in the kitchen. It needed to be rinsed out and put in the dishwasher. That's all. Stared at it. For some reason, my brain would not let me pick it up and rinse it out. I was telling myself in my head, it'll take you 2 seconds. You've just got to pick it up, turn the tap on, rinse it out, put it in the dishwasher. Nope. Some unseen force in my brain would not let it happen. Walked away, beat myself up some more about it. By this time, it would have already been done. Beat myself up some more. Forgot about it for a little while. Went back into the kitchen to get something, saw the cup, went through the exact same process again and again and again. Now, that was actually part of my diagnosis story when my psychologist first said to me, have you ever looked into an ADHD diagnosis? I laugh about it now, but sometimes it's not a laughing matter. One of the good things about ADHD as a business owner, though, as well, is the ideas side of things. Now, I might not always be great at taking everything to the very end, but I am awesome at coming up with ideas, and I'll say that straight up. I can think really quickly about solutions and problem solving and ideas, like that. Sometimes they're crap. Of course they're crap. Everybody has crap ideas. Sometimes, every now and then, you might just get a little tiny nugget of gold. And the fact that I can just bleh ideas, that's cool. It's fun. And sometimes I think it can be kind of cool to go down those rabbit holes with me, especially if I'm talking to you about your business. We might go down a rabbit hole that is completely stupid and useless, fun, but not money-making. Or we might go down a rabbit hole that you hadn't thought of before, and it might be just based on a few different bits and pieces that I know or that I've thought of or seen in the past and somehow magically remember, even though I can't remember what I did yesterday. And we just might strike gold. And those conversations with business owners can be so much fun. And that's another thing that I love doing as a business owner myself is networking, having a chat with other business owners, but really getting into things. So, there's also, yes, I like variety in my work, which means that doing the exact same thing the exact same way every single day is not for me. I have had to learn that the hard way, and it has been something that has been a little more difficult to sort of implement in my business because everybody has to do certain things every day. But what I've done is instead of trying to force myself into a very strict routine with things or trying to, do the calendar blocking where every Thursday morning I do X, Y, Z, and then on a Friday I do A, B, C. Instead of doing things that way, I know what needs to be done. And then I just list it out, and then I know the priorities, but that's not necessarily how I do it. How I do it is if everything is around about the same priority, so no real standouts of this absolutely has to be done today, time sensitive stuff, in which case that crisis brain or hyperfocus brain kicks in. But if everything is kind of has to be done in the next few days, if I just have a list instead of calendar blocks, I can pick and choose what my brain is more attracted to at that particular moment in time. And what I mean by that is some days I actually really feel like doing some of the admin stuff. Like this morning, because I knew I had a masterclass coming up, I was stuck on waiting mode. That's another thing. If I have something happening later in the afternoon, I can't focus on deep work in the morning because in the back of my mind, it's just I'm waiting for 2 o'clock, waiting for 2 o'clock, waiting for 2 o'clock. But back to what I was saying. So this morning, I actually had a lot of fun. Yep, I'll say fun. Organising folders and files and renaming files in a client's folder. Got through a lot. It looks so pretty now. It's so well organised now. All of the duplicates are gone too, so it's saving a lot more space now. Would I have loved doing that yesterday when I was really in my creative headspace and coming up with, different memes and different video ideas and things like that for my clients, for their socials? I would have thought about reorganizing files and gone, no. But today, my brain wanted to do it. It was on the list to start on doing that. Now, I didn't finish it because time. It takes a long time to do that sort of stuff when there's hundreds of files. But I got started on it. I got through a good chunk of it because that's what I felt like doing at the time. So that could be a tip if, for my fellow neurospicy business owners out there, is have your list of things to do. And unless there is a really clear priority there, just have the list, just keep adding to it. You don't have to do top to bottom. I think it took me a long time to get over the should of that and not want to do things top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and instead embrace the fact that at different times, on different days, and it's not going to be predictable, my brain is going to lean towards wanting to do different tasks. So do those tasks when you're at your best for those tasks. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned about me. And through this journey of being diagnosed with ADHD and all of the rest of it. I mean, yes, I do take medication. That's not for everybody. And I'm no doctor. I'm not saying anybody should or shouldn't. Yes, I do. I also find it makes me a slightly nicer person because my brain isn't quite so dim. I'm able to actually focus on, hey, I like you and I want to actually, reach out and be a nice person with you. Rather than sometimes I can get a little bit curt or short with people if my brain is going into overwhelm status. So if you ever do see me, if I ever am a little bit short or curt with you, chances are my brain is on a million different tracks at the same time and I just can't say things the way I would love to say them. Working on that. But I think with ADHD, along with any other type of neurospiciness or neurodiversity, or any other type of difference between us all, whether it be cultural differences, whether it be just preferences, the way we work, the way we talk, the way we are, I think, honestly, coming back to, kind of why I started No Grey Suits, just be you. Work out what works for you and step away from the shoulds a little bit. And once you find something that works for you, take it on. Embrace it. That's amazing. Hopefully that helps somebody. And again, it's me being a tiny bit vulnerable there. And thanks for the butt kick, Kerry. Stepping away from the shame of I have ADHD, but I'm not a naughty, hyperactive little boy. And this is what it does mean for my brain. And this is why things work differently for me. This is why occasionally I miss an email. But being able to, in October, ADHD Awareness Month, being able to come out and say, yeah, I've got ADHD. This is how I work with it. Here's some ideas for other people that might be in a similar boat. And if you are neurodivergent or something different to the normal, I say that in air quotes for those that aren't watching video, normal, that's okay. It's actually okay. You're still a good person. It's like what I say to my kids. As long as you're kind and happy, the rest doesn't matter. I'll leave you with that. Take care.